Video and audio. Alright.
And lights, camera, action.
Lights, camera, action. Yes, sir.
How you doing? Real talk, y'all. I got a special guest with me today. It's always a pleasure when I link up with this brother, man. He always lace me with the game. So without further ado, Mr. Byron Cole. How you doing, my man?
How you doing, man?
It's always a pleasure, bro.
Always a pleasure.
Yes, indeed. So, for the people who don't know you, give a little bit of background on you.
You know, man, I'm very cautious to do that type of thing nowadays because there's so much of a dash of autonomy and fame and rep hunting out here in this movement, right? But I will say that I am the seed of a original Panther associate, and my mother was what I call a true abolitionist, and I was raised with being a people's servant as my lifestyle.
Right.
And that's the introduction I would like to give to.
You said raised as the son of a Panther. Your mama, what's her name?
Diane French Cole. They call her Mama D in New Orleans, the 7th Ward.
7th Ward legend, man. Been putting it down before I was born, he was born. It's in the blood, huh?
I mean, you know.
Does this stretch back past your mama? Like, was they? If you know any background?
Yeah, man. I'm glad you said that. I wanted to make sure I touched on that. My mother is half European. Pete White was my great grandfather, and he was a Frenchman that had sex with a African American lady at the time that was a cleaner in his house, and you know, it was a traditional rape, you know, and she didn't really have any choice, but the product was my grandpa, Bill Hamilton, and so that was one half of my mother. The other half was straight Haitian, never been enslaved, and you know, came here right after the revolution in Haiti. So they moved to Mississippi, and Mama grew up with, you know, holistic thought, holistic life patterns. Mama grew up with farming and developing and nurturing their own food. Mama grew up with the realities of life and understanding that there were, you know, double standards, and not just from an American perspective, because as I mentioned, you know, half of her was pure Haitian, no enslavement. So Mama got to see a few of my relatives, you know, actually circumvent the system and fight against it and be really people's servants in terms of helping black people who were subjugated. And so one example of that is one of my aunts, one of my great aunts, is from Liberty, Mississippi. And you know the Head Start program?
Okay.
Where the kids go to, you know, if they go to public school or whatever. It's an affordable program for daycare for children that the state assists with.
Okay.
Well, that program is nationwide, and it started with my aunt in Liberty, Mississippi. So Mama saw many soldiers come through my lineage, and she just did what was...
Your aunt, that was your mama's sister? Or your great aunt?
No, it was my great aunt. It was my great grandmother's
sister.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
So it runs deep.
Yeah, it runs deep. But what I want to say though is that, you know, yeah, something's always been in me, but I was raised to be a critical thinker. And I was always raised to understand what I was actually facing in this lifetime in real time. And my mother insisted on that. So what I do is really out of a need of necessity. You know, pressure burst pipes.
Or it can make a beautiful diamond.
Yeah. And so either way though, it's smashing something. And, you know, Pac